The laughter cuts through rain like broken glass. Rowan Hale stands under a dying streetlight on Canal Street, one hand pressed against the swell of his belly. 7 months, the baby kicks hard, insistent, right against his ribs. His coat hangs open because the button stopped closing weeks ago. Water soaks through his shoes. His feet ache. Everything aches. "Look at him," someone says. Rowan doesn't look up. He learned that lesson already. A pregnant Omega, a woman's voice sharp with disbelief. "Out here alone." Maury laughter, soft at first, then louder. The crowd gathers like sharks smelling blood. A man in a black suit leans against a Tesla, arms crossed. A woman in heels that cost more than Rowan's rent clicks her tongue. They all stare. They all know what he is, what he's supposed to be. "Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is." "Probably thought he could keep an alpha," the woman says. The man next to her grins. "An alpha mafia like you, please, you can't even please a man." The words land like a fist. Rowan's breath catches. His scent shifts, just for a second, fear bleeding through the rain. The baby moves again, pressing against his bladder, and he has to lock his knees to stay standing. They don't know. None of them know what happened in Baltimore. None of them saw the blood pooling between shipping crates, the way Dominic Crowne's pulse stuttered under Rowan's fingers. None of them know Rowan saved the most dangerous alpha on the East Coast, while bullets tore through cargo marked for Apple and Prada. They just see a pregnant Omega standing in the rain. Alone. Unwanted. Disposable. The laughter builds. Someone takes a photo. The flash burns white against the wet pavement. Rowan closes his eyes. Then the laughter stops. Not gradually, not politely. It dies like someone flipped a switch. Rowan opens his eyes. A shadow moves through the rain, tall, deliberate, the kind of presence that bends air around it. Dominic Crowne steps into the light. His suit is Tom Ford, tailored so precisely the rain slides off like it knows better than to touch him. A Rolex gleams at his wrist. His face is calm, too calm, the kind of calm that precedes violence. The crowd shifts, phones disappear. The woman in heels takes a step back. Dominic doesn't acknowledge them. He walks straight to the man who spoke last. "Say that again," Dominic says quietly. The man swallows. His confidence drains like water through a broken dam. I was joking." Dominic's gaze slides to Rowan, not with hunger, not with ownership, with something else, something the crowd can't read. Recognition. Dominic removes his coat, casually, like he's done this 1,000 times, and drapes it over Rowan's shoulders. The fabric is warm, dry. It smells like cedar and something darker Rowan can't name. "He's under my protection," Dominic says. His voice carries despite the rain, and so is that child. Someone laughs nervously. "Since when does the King Alpha play?" Dominic turns. The man's mouth snaps shut. Dominic leans close to Rowan. His voice drops low enough that only Rowan can hear. "Wanna bet?" The words aren't a question. They're a promise. The crowd watches, frozen. The woman in heels tries to smile, but it comes out wrong. The man by the Tesla suddenly remembers he has somewhere else to be. They scatter, slow at first, then faster. Within 60 seconds, the street is empty except for rain and neon, and 2 people who shouldn't be standing together. Rowan's hands shake. The coat is too big, it swallows him. "You shouldn't be here," Rowan whispers. Dominic's expression doesn't change. "Neither should you." Rowan wants to argue, wants to explain that he had a doctor's appointment 6 blocks away, that his phone died, that he thought he could make it home before the rain got worse. But the words stick in his throat because Dominic isn't asking for explanations. He's already moving. A black car pulls up to the curb. The door opens, warm air spills out. "Get in," Dominic says. It's not a command, not quite. Rowan looks at the empty street, the rain, the streetlight flickering like it might die any second. He gets in the car. Dominic slides in beside him. The door closes. The world outside becomes muffled, distant, like it's happening to someone else. The driver doesn't ask where they're going. He already knows. Rowan sits with Dominic's coat still wrapped around his shoulders, his hands folded over his belly. The baby settles. For the first time in hours, the kicking stops. "Why?" Rowan asks. Dominic looks out the window. Rain streaks across the glass in patterns that almost look intentional. You asked me that in Baltimore, Dominic says. I didn't answer then either. The car turns onto a street Rowan doesn't recognize. Buildings blur past. Lights bleed together. Rowan's pulse hammers in his throat. They're going to talk. They already are. Sealers will. Let him. The certainty in Dominic's voice makes Rowan's chest tight. He knows what Sealers Bexley is capable of. The chemical exposure wasn't an accident. The pregnancy wasn't natural. The rumors spreading through every network from Connecticut to Texas weren't random. They were weapons. And Rowan was collateral. The car slows. They pull up to a building Rowan has never seen before. Glass and steel, security cameras, a doorman who doesn't ask questions. Dominic gets out first. He offers his hand. Rowan stares at it. In Baltimore, he'd pressed his hands against Dominic's wound and felt blood pulse between his fingers. He'd stayed when any sane person would have run. He'd made a choice that should have killed him. Instead, it led here. To a stranger offering protection Rowan doesn't understand. To a coat that smells like cedar. To a car with tinted windows and a driver who knows where to go without being told. Rowan takes Dominic's hand. His grip is steady, warm, the kind of touch that doesn't demand anything in return. They walk inside together. The lobby is quiet, marble floors, low lighting, an elevator with buttons that go higher than Rowan can count. Dominic presses the top floor. The doors close. They rise. Rowan watches the numbers climb. His reflection stares back from the polished steel, worn coat, messy hair, a belly too round to hide. He looks like someone who doesn't belong here. But Dominic doesn't look at him like that. He doesn't look at him at all. He just waits. The elevator stops, the doors open. The penthouse spreads out like something from a different world. Floor-to-ceiling windows, city lights stretching to the horizon, furniture that costs more than Rowan made in a year as a courier. You'll stay here, Dominic says. Rowan turns, I can't. You will. Dominic walks to the window. His reflection overlaps with the city beyond. For a moment he looks like a ghost, like something not quite real. Sealers won't stop, Rowan says. I know. He'll twist this, make it look like. Let him. Rowan's hands curl into fists. The baby kicks again, sensing his tension. You don't understand what he's capable of. Dominic finally turns. His eyes are dark, unreadable. Yes, he says quietly, I do. The weight in those 3 words makes Rowan's breath catch. Dominic crosses the room. He stops an arm's length away, close enough that Rowan can see the scar on his collarbone, the one Rowan's hands pressed against 6 months ago while gunfire echoed through shipping containers. This child exists because you refuse to run, Dominic says. That's not weakness. Rowan's throat tightens. Sealers thinks breaking you will break me, Dominic continues. He's wrong. How do you know? Dominic's expression shifts, something almost like a smile, because I already tried. The silence that follows is heavy, complete. Rowan doesn't know what to say, doesn't know what question to ask first. There are too many. They pile up in his chest until he can't breathe. Dominic steps back. There's food in the kitchen, clothes in the guest room. A doctor will come by tomorrow. What about you? I have work. Work, Rowan repeats flatly. Dominic's jaw tightens. Sealers made his move tonight. The crowd on Canal Street wasn't random. Rowan's blood goes cold. What? He wanted you exposed, humiliated. He wanted proof you were abandoned. Dominic's voice is flat, clinical. He got the opposite. Rowan sways. Dominic's hand shoots out, steadying him. Sit, Dominic orders. Rowan sits. The couch is soft, too soft. His body sinks into it like quicksand. Dominic crouches in front of him. Eye level, you're safe here. For how long? Dominic doesn't answer. He stands, adjusts his cuffs. The Rolex catches the light. As long as it takes, he says finally. Then he walks to the door. Rowan watches him go, watches the door close, watches the lock click into place. He sits alone in a penthouse that costs more than his entire life. The city glitters beyond the windows. And somewhere out there, Silas Bexley is already planning his next move. The system was supposed to work. Rowan learned the rules early. Omegas survive by staying quiet, by finding an alpha strong enough to claim them, by making themselves useful, small, agreeable, forgettable. The world runs on dominance. Power follows a chain. You find your place in it or you disappear. Baltimore taught him different. He'd been a medical courier for 3 years. Good pay, no questions. He delivered blood samples to labs, medications to clinics, organs to hospitals. He wore scrubs, drove a van with a red cross on the side. Nobody looked twice at him. That invisibility saved his life. The shootout happened at 11:30 on a Tuesday. Rowan was dropping off plasma samples at a research facility near the harbor when the first shots cracked through the air. He hit the ground, crawled behind a shipping container, waited for the noise to stop. It didn't stop. He found Dominic bleeding out between crates marked for luxury goods. The Alpha's suit was shredded, blood pooled beneath him. His eyes were open but unfocused. Rowan should have run. Every rule said run. Instead, he ripped his shirt into strips and pressed them against the wound. He counted Dominic's pulse. He whispered numbers under his breath, 70, 68, 65, and watched the Alpha's chest rise and fall. Help came eventually. Men in dark suits, a car with no plates. They carried Dominic away without asking Rowan's name. He went home, showered, threw away his ruined clothes, told himself he'd forget. But Dominic remembered. Rowan stares at the penthouse ceiling now, Dominic's coat still draped over his shoulders. The fabric smells like safety, like a promise he doesn't trust yet. The baby kicks. Rowan's hand moves to his belly automatically. I know, he whispers. I don't understand either. His phone buzzes. He pulls it from his pocket. The screen is cracked but functional. 17 missed calls, 43 messages. All from the same blocked number. Rowan's stomach drops. He doesn't open them. He already knows what they say. Silas Bexley doesn't forgive. Silas doesn't forget. And Silas doesn't lose. The Connecticut operation started small. Rowan heard rumors, whispers about hormonal experiments, about forcing bonds between incompatible pairs, about creating leverage where none existed. He dismissed them. Rumors were cheap. Everyone had enemies. Everyone talked. Then he woke up in a medical facility with an IV in his arm and a pregnancy he didn't consent to. The doctors wore masks. They spoke in codes. They called him Subject 17. When they released him, they gave him a file. His name was redacted. His medical history was altered. His pregnancy was listed as voluntary. The truth was erased. All that remained was the shame. Rowan tried to disappear after that. He moved to New York, found a cheap apartment, paid cash for everything, deleted his social media, cut ties with everyone who knew him before. It worked for 3 months. Then the rumors started. Someone leaked photos, edited footage, false testimonies. They painted Rowan as manipulative, desperate, a gold digger who trapped an alpha and got what he deserved. The internet believed it. People always believe the easy story. Dominic's protection should feel like relief. Instead, it feels like standing on a cliff edge. One wrong step and everything falls. Rowan stands, his legs are stiff. He walks to the window and looks down at the city below. Canal Street is somewhere out there. The crowd is probably still talking, posting, speculating. By morning, the story will have spread. King Alpha claims pregnant Omega. Dominic Crowne's secret. Silas Bexley's rival makes bold move. The headlines write themselves. Rowan's reflection stares back at him from the glass, pale, exhausted, 7 months pregnant with a child he didn't choose. He looks like someone who needs saving. He hates it. The door opens behind him. Rowan spins. A woman steps inside. She's older, maybe 50, with silver hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her suit is grey. Her expression is neutral. I'm Dr. Calloway, she says. Mr. Crowne asked me to check on you. Rowan doesn't move. It's midnight. I'm aware. She sets a medical bag on the counter, pulls out a blood pressure cuff, a stethoscope, a portable ultrasound. I didn't agree to this, Rowan says. Dr. Calloway looks at him. Her eyes are sharp, assessing. You can refuse, but Mr. Crowne will ask me to come back tomorrow, and the day after, and every day until you let me do my job. Rowan's jaw tightens. He sits. Dr. Calloway works efficiently. She takes his vitals, listens to the baby's heartbeat, runs the ultrasound wand across his belly. The screen flickers to life, a tiny form curled in darkness. Strong heartbeat, she says. Good position, no immediate concerns. Rowan stares at the screen. The baby's hand moves, just a flutter, barely visible. His chest aches. How far along? Dr. Calloway asks. 7 months. Prenatal care. Some. Her expression doesn't change, but something in her posture shifts. Some isn't enough. I know. She hands him a bottle of prenatal vitamins. Take these, daily, no exceptions. Rowan nods. Dr. Calloway packs her equipment. She pauses at the door. Mr. Crowne asked me to tell you something. Rowan looks up. He said you're not a patient, you're not a project, and you're not an obligation. She meets his eyes, his words not mine. Then she leaves. Rowan sits alone again. The prenatal vitamins rattle in his hand. He wants to believe Dominic's words. He wants to believe this is real. But belief requires trust. And trust requires time. And time is the one thing sealers won't give him. Rowan's phone buzzes again. Another message, another blocked number. This time he opens it. The photo loads slowly. It's him standing under the streetlight on Canal Street, Dominic's coat draped over his shoulders. The angle makes it look intimate, possessive. The caption reads, King Alpha's new pet. Rowan's hands shake. He deletes the message. Then another comes through. And another. And another. Each one worse than the last. Each one designed to cut deeper. By the time he stops checking, there are 63 new messages. Rowan turns his phone off. He walks to the guest room Dr. Calloway mentioned. The bed is massive, the sheets are soft. There are clothes in the closet, his size, somehow, and toiletries in the bathroom. Dominic's thought of everything. Rowan lies down, pulls the blankets up, closes his eyes. Sleep doesn't come. The baby kicks again, restless, sensing his tension. Rowan's hand moves to his belly. We're okay, he whispers. We're safe. He doesn't believe it. But he says it anyway. Because sometimes belief starts with repetition. And no one had a backup. The pregnancy becomes a problem no rule accounts for. Rowan isn't claimed, he isn't unclaimed. He exists in the gap between definitions, a space the law doesn't recognize and society refuses to acknowledge. The baby growing inside him should belong to someone, should carry a name, should have a legal father listed on documents that matter. Instead, there's nothing. Just blank lines and unanswered questions. Dominic's lawyers tried first, 3 of them, expensive ones with offices in Manhattan and client lists that read like a Forbes feature. They reviewed Rowan's medical records, his forced containment file, the chemical exposure reports. Then they stopped returning calls. One sent a single email. This case cannot be won through legal channels. Rowan sits in Dominic's penthouse 3 days later, staring at that email on his phone. The words don't change no matter how many times he reads them. They're afraid, Dominic says. Rowan looks up. Dominic stands by the window, hands in his pockets. His suit is different today, charcoal instead of black, but the presence is the same, immovable. Afraid of what? Rowan asks. Sealers. The name hangs in the air like smoke. Rowan's grip tightens on his phone. He did this. He orchestrated the exposure. He forced the pregnancy. Why won't anyone? Proof isn't enough, Dominic interrupts. What? Dominic turns, his expression is flat. You have medical records, time stamps, witness statements, but Sealers has something better. What? Plausible deniability. Rowan's stomach twists. Dominic crosses the room. He sits across from Rowan, elbows on his knees. The facility where you were held, owned by a shell corporation registered in Delaware. The doctors who treated you, all contractors, no permanent staff, no paper trail. That doesn't make sense, Rowan says. Someone has to. No one has to do anything. Dominic's voice is quiet, controlled. That's the point. Sealer's built a system where accountability doesn't exist. Rowan's hands shake. The baby kicks hard, angry, and he presses his palm against the spot. So what? I just accept it. No. Then what? Dominic leans back, his jaw tightens. We break the system. The words sound simple. They're not. Rowan learned early that systems don't break easily. They bend, they flex, they absorb pressure and redistribute it until the person pushing collapses first. He's seen it happen, to other Omegas, to people who thought they mattered. The system always wins. How? Rowan asks. Dominic doesn't answer immediately. His phone buzzes, he glances at the screen, his expression hardens. What is it? Rowan asks. Dominic shows him the phone. It's a news article, posted 17 minutes ago. Dominic Crowne under investigation for coercion and unlawful containment. Rowan's blood goes cold. The article is detailed, professional. It cites anonymous sources, references legal precedents, includes photos of Rowan leaving the penthouse with Dr. Calloway. The narrative is clear. Dominic isn't protecting Rowan. He's controlling him. Rowan's vision blurs. This isn't. I know, Dominic says. They're lying. I know. We have to. There's nothing to do. Rowan stares at him. What? Dominic sets his phone down. His voice is calm, too calm. Sealer's released this story. He timed it perfectly. The investigation is real, federal. It's already started. But you didn't do anything. Doesn't matter. Rowan's chest tightens, so we just wait. No, Dominic stands. We prepare. For what? Dominic looks at him, really looks at him, for the part where it gets worse. The baby kicks again. Rowan's hand moves automatically to the spot. The movement is becoming reflex now. Comfort, a reminder that he's not alone even when he feels like he is. How much worse? Rowan asks quietly. Dominic's expression doesn't change. Sealers won't stop until you're discredited, until the pregnancy is framed as your fault, until every network from Connecticut to Texas believes you're unstable. Why? Because a broken Omega is easier to control. The truth of it lands like a punch. Rowan has known this, somewhere deep down, but hearing it spoken aloud makes it real. He's not a person to Sealers. He's leverage. A tool. Disposable. What if we go public? Rowan asks suddenly. What if I tell my side? Dominic shakes his head. They won't believe you. How do you know? Because Sealers has already written your story. Dominic's voice is flat. The desperate Omega, the manipulation, the trap. People believe what confirms what they already think. Rowan's throat tightens, so I just stay quiet. For now. For how long? Dominic doesn't answer. Because the answer is, until we find a path that doesn't exist yet. Rowan stands, his legs are unsteady. He walks to the window and stares down at the city. Somewhere out there, people are reading that article, forming opinions, choosing sides. He wonders how many will choose his. Probably none. I should leave, Rowan says. No. This is making things worse for you. I don't care. Rowan turns. You should. Dominic crosses the room in 3 strides. He stops close enough that Rowan can see the scar on his collarbone again, the one Rowan's hands pressed against in Baltimore. You stayed when you should have run, Dominic says quietly. You think I forgot that? That was different. No, it wasn't. The certainty in Dominic's voice makes Rowan's chest ache. I'm not worth this, Rowan whispers. Dominic's expression shifts, something almost like anger. Don't. Don't what? Don't decide your worth based on what Sealers wants you to believe. Rowan's eyes burn, he blinks hard. Easy for you to say. No, Dominic's voice is sharp. It's not. The silence that follows is heavy. Rowan wants to ask what Dominic means, wants to push, wants to understand. But Dominic is already moving. He walks to the door, pauses. Stay here, Dr. Calloway will check on you tonight. Where are you going? To buy us time. How? Dominic's jaw tightens, by making sure Sealers understands what happens when he miscalculates. Then he's gone. Rowan stands alone in the penthouse. The city hums below. His phone buzzes again. More messages, more articles, more strangers deciding who he is without ever meeting him. He turns the phone off. Sits on the couch. Pulls Dominic's coat, still draped over the armrest, around his shoulders. It smells like cedar. Like safety. Like a promise that might break. The baby kicks. Rowan's hand moves to his belly. I don't know what happens next, he whispers. The baby kicks again. Harder this time. Like it's trying to answer. Every known solution failed for the same reason. Dominic's office is full of men who don't want to be there. 6 advisors, 2 lawyers, 1 head of security. All of them stare at Dominic like he's proposed burning down their own houses. This is a mistake, Marcus says. He's the oldest advisor, grey hair, expensive watch, 30 years in organized logistics. His voice carries weight. Protecting the Omega makes you look weak. Dominic doesn't respond. He sits at the head of the table, hands folded. His suit is Tom Ford again, pressed, perfect, the kind of armor that doesn't show cracks. Sealers is baiting you, another advisor adds. This one is younger, sharp suit, sharper eyes. He wants you distracted, overextended. If you keep protecting Rowan, you'll lose credibility with. With who? Dominic asks quietly. The room goes silent. With the families, Marcus says carefully. With the networks, they're already questioning your judgment. Dominic's expression doesn't change. Let them. One of the lawyers leans forward. Mr. Crowne, the federal investigation is real. If they find evidence, any evidence that you coerced or unlawfully contained Rowan Hale, you'll face charges. Prison time, asset seizure. I didn't coerce him, Dominic says. It doesn't matter what you did, the lawyer snaps. It matters what they can prove. Dominic's jaw tightens. Marcus clears his throat. There's another option. Everyone looks at him. You distance yourself, Marcus says. Publicly release a statement. Say Rowan misunderstood your intentions. Walk away. The silence that follows is absolute. Dominic's gaze cuts to Marcus. Walk away. Yes. And leave him to Sealers. Marcus doesn't flinch. It's not your responsibility to. Stop talking. The words are quiet. They land like a blade. Marcus goes pale. Dominic stands. He walks to the window. The city spreads below, lights and steel and endless motion. Rowan saved my life, Dominic says. His voice is flat, clinical. I was bleeding out in Baltimore. He had every reason to run. He stayed. That doesn't obligate you to. It obligates me to everything. The finality in Dominic's tone kills the argument. One of the lawyers tries anyway. Mr. Crowne, we're talking about political suicide. If you continue down this path. Then I continue. You'll lose allies. They weren't allies. You'll lose territory. I'll take it back. You'll lose respect. Dominic turns. His expression is cold, empty. From who? Men who abandon people the moment it becomes inconvenient. No one answers. Marcus shifts in his seat. This isn't just about respect, it's about survival. Sealers has resources, connections, if he decides to escalate. He already escalated, Dominic interrupts. He forced a pregnancy, he spread lies, he orchestrated public humiliation. His voice drops. What's left? The room stays silent. Because the answer is violence. And everyone at the table knows it. Dominic walks back to his chair. He doesn't sit. You're all dismissed. Sir, now, they leave. Slowly at first, then faster. Marcus lingers at the door. You're making a mistake. Dominic looks at him. Noted. Marcus hesitates, then he leaves too. The office empties. Dominic stands alone. His phone buzzes. He pulls it from his pocket. A message from Dr. Calloway. Rowan's vitals are stable. Baby is healthy. He's not sleeping. Dominic types back, stay with him. The response comes immediately. Already am. Dominic sets the phone down. He walks to the bar, pours 2 fingers of whiskey, doesn't drink it. Just stares at the glass. The door opens behind him. Dominic doesn't turn. I said dismissed. I'm not one of them. Dominic turns. Elijah Cross stands in the doorway, head of security, former military, the only person in Dominic's circle who doesn't flinch when things get dangerous. You should have left with the others, Dominic says. Elijah closes the door. You're about to do something stupid. Probably. Want to tell me what? Dominic drinks the whiskey in one swallow. I'm going to make Sealers regret touching Rowan. Elijah's expression doesn't change. How? By breaking everything he built. That'll take time. I have time. You have a federal investigation. Dominic sets the glass down, then I'll work faster. Elijah crosses the room. He leans against the desk. The advisors are right about one thing. Protecting Rowan makes you look weak. I know. It makes you a target. I know. And it won't stop Sealers. Dominic meets his eyes. I don't care. Elijah studies him. Then he nods slowly. What do you need? Information. Sealers has a base of operations in Connecticut. I want locations, personnel, financial records. That'll take resources. Use them. What about the networks, if they find out you're actively targeting Sealers? Let them find out. Elijah's jaw tightens. You're burning bridges. They were rotten anyway. The silence that follows is heavy. Elijah finally speaks. You care about him. It's not a question. Dominic doesn't answer immediately. He thinks about Baltimore, about Rowan's hands pressing against his wound, about the way Rowan counted his pulse aloud, 70, 68, 65, like numbers could hold death back. He thinks about Rowan standing in the rain on Canal Street, pregnant, alone, humiliated. He thinks about the way Rowan's scent shifted when the crowd laughed, fear bleeding through control. Yes, Dominic says quietly. Elijah nods. Then we do this right. Meaning we don't just break Sealers, we erase him. Dominic's expression shifts, something almost like a smile. How long? Give me a week. You have 3 days. Elijah doesn't argue. He just leaves. Dominic stands alone again. His phone buzzes. Another message, this one from an unknown number. He opens it. The photo loads slowly. It's Rowan asleep on the penthouse couch. The angle suggests someone was inside, watching. The caption reads, "You can't protect him forever." Dominic's grip tightens on the phone. He deletes the message. Then he makes a call. Increase security at the penthouse, he says. No one gets in, no one gets close. Yes, sir. Dominic ends the call. He pours another whiskey. This time he drinks it. The city glitters beyond the window. Somewhere out there, Sealers is smiling. Thinking he's won. Thinking Dominic will break. He's wrong. Continuing meant accepting years of visible failure. The first attempt happens on a Tuesday. Rowan wakes to sunlight streaming through the penthouse windows. Dr. Calloway is gone. The apartment is quiet, too quiet. He checks his phone. A text from Dominic, relocation arranged. Car arrives at noon, pack light. Rowan stares at the message. Relocation. Like he's cargo. Like he's something that needs hiding. He wants to argue, wants to refuse, but the memory of the photo, him asleep on the couch, someone watching, kills the protest before it forms. The car arrives exactly at noon. Black tinted windows, a driver who doesn't speak. Rowan gets in. They drive for 2 hours, out of the city, past suburbs, into countryside that looks too peaceful to be real. The house is small, isolated, surrounded by trees that block the view from the road. You'll be safe here, the driver says, first words he's spoken. Rowan doesn't respond. He goes inside. The house is furnished, clean, there's food in the kitchen, clothes in the bedroom, everything he might need. Except answers. Rowan unpacks slowly, his hands shake. The baby kicks, restless, sensing his anxiety. "We're okay," he whispers. "This is temporary." He doesn't believe it. But he says it anyway. By Wednesday, the rumors start. Rowan doesn't have access to social media anymore. Dominic confiscated his phone, gave him a new one with exactly 3 contacts: Dominic, Dr. Calloway, emergency services. But Dr. Calloway tells him anyway. "There are photos," she says during her evening visit, "of the house. Someone knows you're here." Rowan's stomach drops. How? Unknown. What kind of photos? Dr. Calloway hesitates, then she shows him her phone. The image is grainy, taken from a distance, but it's clearly Rowan standing by the window. The caption reads, "King Alpha hides his mistake." Rowan's hands curl into fists. "Dominic is handling it," Dr. Calloway says. "How?" "I don't know." Rowan wants to scream. Instead, he nods. By Thursday, the relocation fails completely. Rowan is making tea when the first brick comes through the window. Glass explodes inward. Rowan drops the mug. It shatters. Hot water splashes across the floor. He stumbles backward. Another brick, then another. Someone is shouting outside. He can't make out the words, just rage, just noise. Rowan's phone buzzes. "Dominic, stay inside. Security is 2 minutes out." Rowan locks himself in the bathroom. Sits on the floor. Presses his hands against his belly. The baby kicks hard, panicked. "We're okay," Rowan whispers. "We are safe." The lie tastes like ash. Security arrives. The shouting stops. Dominic shows up 30 minutes later. He finds Rowan still sitting on the bathroom floor, hands pressed against his belly, rocking slightly. Dominic crouches in front of him. "You're moving again." "Where?" "Somewhere better. They'll find me." "Not this time." Rowan looks up, his eyes are red. "You can't promise that." Dominic's jaw tightens. "I can try." The second attempt happens the following week. Dominic arranges legal pressure this time. Subpoenas, restraining orders, federal injunctions against Sealers' known associates. It backfires spectacularly. Within 48 hours, 3 major news outlets run stories about Dominic's abuse of power. Anonymous sources claim he's using his connections to silence victims. The narrative shifts. Suddenly, Rowan isn't a victim. He's a weapon. A tool Dominic is using to destroy rivals. The comment sections explode. He's manipulating the system. Why should we believe him? Pregnant omegas lie all the time. Rowan reads them despite Dr. Calloway's warnings. Each comment cuts deeper. By the end of the week, Rowan stops eating. Not intentionally. He just can't. Every time he tries, his throat closes, his stomach rebels. Dr. Calloway notices immediately. "You need nutrients," she says. "I know. The baby needs nutrients." "I know. Then eat." Rowan stares at the plate in front of him. Chicken, vegetables, food that probably tastes good. He can't. Dr. Calloway's expression softens. "Rowan. I'm trying." "I know." The baby kicks. Weaker this time. Rowan's hand moves to the spot. His chest tightens. "I'm sorry," he whispers. Dr. Calloway stands. "I'm calling Dominic." "Don't. He needs to know. He has enough to worry about. You're starving yourself." "I'm not." "You are." The truth of it lands like a blow. Rowan closes his eyes. Dr. Calloway makes the call. The third attempt is Dominic's last desperate move. He finds evidence. Real evidence. Medical records from the Connecticut facility, time-stamped surveillance footage, financial transfers linking Sealers to the chemical exposure. It's everything they need. Dominic releases it through anonymous channels, sends it to journalists, federal investigators, anyone who might care. For 6 hours, it works. Articles appear, questions are raised, Sealers' name trends on social media. Then the footage vanishes. Not gradually. All at once. Links go dead, articles are pulled, journalists issue retractions. Within 12 hours, every piece of evidence is gone. Scrubbed. Erased. Like it never existed. Dominic stands in his office, staring at his laptop screen. Elijah stands beside him. How? Dominic asks. Money, Elijah says flatly, lots of it. I have money. Sealers has more. Dominic's hands curl into fists. There has to be. There isn't. The silence that follows is crushing. Dominic's phone buzzes. A message from Dr. Calloway. Rowan isn't eating. Baby's heartbeat is weakening. You need to come. Dominic reads the message twice. Then he stands. Where are you going? Elijah asks. To Rowan. What about Sealers? Dominic pauses at the door. Sealers can wait. He drives himself. 90 minutes, no security, just him and the highway and the weight of failure pressing against his chest. He finds Rowan in the guest room. Sitting by the window, staring at nothing. Rowan. Rowan doesn't turn. Dominic crosses the room, kneels beside the chair. Dr. Calloway told me. I'm fine. You're not eating. I'm trying. Try harder. Rowan finally looks at him, his eyes are hollow. Why? Because the baby needs you. The baby needs more than me. Rowan's voice cracks. It needs a world where Sealers doesn't win, where truth matters. Where? It needs you alive. Rowan's throat works. What if that's not enough? Dominic's chest tightens. He doesn't have an answer. Because the truth is, it might not be. Eat, Dominic says quietly, please. Rowan stares at him. Then he nods. Dominic stays while Rowan eats, half a sandwich, some fruit, water. It's not much. But it's something. When Rowan finishes, Dominic stands. I'm going back to the city, he says. To do what? To find another way. There isn't one. Dominic's jaw tightens, then I'll make one. He leaves before Rowan can argue. Drives back to the city. Sits in his office until 3 in the morning. Staring at files, evidence, dead ends. Every solution creates a worse problem. Every path loops back to failure. At this point, success would no longer look like success. The medical report arrives at 2 in the morning. Dominic opens the email on his phone. His eyes scan the document once, twice, then he stops breathing. Hormonal anomaly detected, synthetic compound present, concentration levels inconsistent with natural pregnancy. He reads the next line. Compound matches experimental suppressants developed by Biomed Solutions, LLC, Connecticut. Dominic's grip tightens on the phone. Biomed Solutions. A subsidiary of a company Sealers controls. The evidence is there, finally, concrete, undeniable. Dominic forwards the report to Elijah, to his lawyers, to 3 journalists who still answer his calls. Then he waits. 20 minutes later, his phone rings. We can't use this, the lawyer says. Dominic's jaw tightens. Why not? The compound isn't illegal. Biomed has FDA approval for experimental trials. Sealers can claim Rowan consented. He didn't consent. Can you prove that? Dominic closes his eyes. The containment records are sealed, medical privacy laws. We can't access them without Rowan's explicit permission, and even then. He'll give permission. It won't matter, the lawyer's voice is flat. Sealers will argue the records were falsified, that Rowan is lying, that you're manipulating evidence to destroy a rival. That's not. It doesn't matter what's true, it matters what we can prove in court. Dominic ends the call. He stares at the medical report on his screen. Evidence that should change everything. Evidence that changes nothing. His phone buzzes again. A text from one of the journalists, story killed. Editor won't run it, too much legal risk. Then another journalist, can't touch this, sorry. Then the third, sealers got to my boss, I'm off the story. Dominic sets the phone down. He stands, walks to the window. The city spreads below, indifferent, endless. Somewhere out there, Rowan is trying to eat, trying to sleep, trying to believe this will end. Dominic's reflection stares back at him from the glass. He looks tired. Older. Like someone who's losing. His phone buzzes one more time. A message from an unknown number. He opens it. The image loads slowly. It's a document, a contract, dated 6 months ago. Rowan's signature is at the bottom. The header reads, Voluntary Participation Agreement, Biomed Solutions Hormonal Study. Dominic's blood goes cold. He zooms in on the signature. It looks real. Perfect. Forged. The caption below the image reads, He wanted this, you're just too stupid to see it. Dominic deletes the message. But the damage is done. Because now Sealers has ammunition. A signed document, a voluntary agreement, a narrative that fits what people already believe. The desperate Omega who lied. The Alpha who fell for it. Dominic sits in his office until dawn. Elijah finds him there at 6. You look like hell, Elijah says. Dominic doesn't respond. Elijah sets a coffee on the desk, the medical report. Useless. The journalists. Silenced. Elijah's expression hardens. What about the contract? Dominic looks up, you saw it. Sealers sent it to me too, along with a message. What did it say? Elijah pulls out his phone, shows Dominic the screen. Walk away now or I release this publicly, your choice. Dominic reads it twice. Then he stands. Where are you going? Elijah asks. To Rowan. What are you going to tell him? Dominic pauses at the door, the truth. Which is that I don't know how to win this. The drive takes 90 minutes. Dominic barely remembers it. He parks outside the safe house, goes inside, finds Rowan in the kitchen making tea. Rowan looks up, you're here early. Dominic doesn't waste time. Sealers has a contract. It says you volunteered for the hormonal study. Rowan's face drains of color. That's not. I know. I never signed. I know. Rowan sets the mug down, his hands shake. How did he? Forged professional, probably cost him 6 figures. Dominic's voice is flat, but it looks real. Rowan sinks into a chair. So what now? Dominic sits across from him. He's threatening to release it publicly unless I walk away. Then walk away. No. Dominic. No. Rowan's eyes fill. You're going to lose everything. I don't care. You should. Dominic leans forward. You saved my life. You think I'm going to abandon you because a forged document makes things inconvenient. This isn't inconvenient, this is. I don't care. The finality in Dominic's voice stops the argument. Rowan wipes his eyes. What if we can't prove it's forged? Then we find another way. There isn't one. Dominic's jaw tightens. Because Rowan is right. Every path is blocked. Every solution creates a worse problem. Every piece of evidence gets twisted or erased. They're losing. And everyone knows it. Rowan stands, walks to the window, presses his forehead against the glass. I'm tired, he whispers. Dominic stands too, I know. I don't know how much longer I can do this. You don't have to do it alone. Rowan turns, his expression is raw, broken. What if that's not enough? Dominic doesn't answer. Because the truth is, it might not be. The baby kicks. Rowan's hand moves to his belly, he closes his eyes. Sometimes I wonder if they're right, he says quietly. Who? Everyone, the comments, the articles. Rowan's voice cracks. Maybe I'm manipulating you. Maybe I am the problem. Stop. Maybe the world would be better if I just. Stop. Dominic crosses the room in 2 strides. He grips Rowan's shoulders. Look at me. Rowan does. His eyes are red, exhausted. You are not the problem, Dominic says. Each word is deliberate, controlled. Sealer's is. The system that protects him is. The people who look away are. But it's not you. Rowan's throat works. How do you know? Because I've seen real monsters. You're not one of them. The silence that follows is heavy. Rowan's shoulders shake. Dominic pulls him close. Rowan doesn't resist. He just stands there, leaning against Dominic's chest, breathing. We're going to lose, Rowan whispers. Dominic's grip tightens. Maybe. That doesn't scare you. No. Why not? Dominic pulls back just enough to meet Rowan's eyes. Because losing to Sealers doesn't mean you were wrong. It just means the system is. Rowan stares at him. Then he nods slowly. Dominic's phone buzzes. He ignores it. It buzzes again. And again. Finally, he checks it. 12 messages, all from Elijah. Sealers just released the contract. It's everywhere. News, social media, trending on 3 platforms. You need to see this. Dominic shows Rowan the screen. Rowan reads the messages. His face goes blank. It's over, Rowan says. Dominic shakes his head. Not yet. What's left? Dominic doesn't answer. Because the truth is, he doesn't know. Which created a new problem no one knew how to solve. The contract goes viral in 4 hours. Rowan watches it happen from the safe house. Dr. Calloway brings her tablet, shows him the headlines scrolling past. Omega lied about forced pregnancy. Dominic Crowne manipulated by desperate gold digger. Signed contract proves consent. The comments are worse. I knew he was lying. Omegas like him destroy good alphas. Dominic should sue for defamation. Rowan reads until his vision blurs. Then he stops, sets the tablet down, walks to the bedroom, closes the door. Dr. Calloway finds him 20 minutes later, sitting on the floor, back against the wall, hands pressed over his belly. It's Rowan. He doesn't look up. You need to eat. I'm not hungry. It's the baby. I know. Dr. Calloway sits beside him. She doesn't speak, just sits there, present. The baby kicks. Weak, barely noticeable. Rowan's hand moves to the spot. His eyes close. I'm sorry, he whispers. For what? For not being stronger. Dr. Calloway's expression softens. Strength isn't enduring alone. It's knowing when to ask for help. I've asked, it doesn't matter. It matters to Dominic. Rowan's laugh is bitter. Dominic is losing everything because of me. Dominic is fighting because he chose to. He shouldn't have. That's not your decision to make. The truth of it stings. Rowan opens his eyes, stares at the ceiling. What if this never ends? Then we endure until it does. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Rowan's phone buzzes. He ignores it. It buzzes again. Dr. Calloway picks it up, checks the screen, her expression shifts. What? Rowan asks. She shows him. A message from Dominic, don't believe the contract, I'm handling it. Then another, stay inside, security is doubled. Then a third, I'm not walking away. Rowan stares at the messages. His throat tightens. He wants to believe Dominic. Wants to believe this can still be fixed. But belief requires hope. And hope feels like a luxury he can't afford. Meanwhile, Dominic sits in his office, surrounded by advisors who won't meet his eyes. The contract is displayed on the screen behind him, blown up, analyzed, dissected. It's real, one of the lawyers says. It's forged, Dominic snaps. The signature matches, the date makes sense. The witnesses listed are real people who worked at Biomed. Sealers fabricated it. Can you prove that? Dominic's jaw tightens, not yet. Then we have nothing. Marcus leans forward. You need to release a statement, distance yourself, apologize for being deceived. No, Mr. Crowne. I said no. The investigation is expanding, another advisor says. Federal agents are requesting interviews, bank records, communication logs, if they find anything. They won't. How do you know? Because I didn't do anything wrong. The room goes silent. One of the younger advisors clears his throat. With respect, sir, that doesn't matter anymore. Dominic turns slowly. Explain. Public opinion has shifted. People believe the contract. They believe Rowan lied. They believe you were manipulated. The advisor hesitates. Even if you're innocent, the damage is done. So what are you suggesting? Cut your losses, move on, let Rowan deal with the consequences. Dominic's expression goes cold. Get out. Sir, now. The advisor leaves. The others follow. Marcus stays behind. You're making this worse. I'm doing what's right. Right doesn't win, power does. Dominic stands, walks to the window. Then I'll find more power. There isn't time. Then I'll make time. Marcus sighs. You're going to lose everything. I know. And you're still going to fight. Yes. Marcus studies him, then he nods slowly. Then you'll do it alone. He leaves. Dominic stands by the window. Alone. The city glitters below. His phone buzzes. A news alert, federal investigation into Dominic Crowne expands. Sources say charges imminent. Dominic reads it once. Then he deletes it. Another message comes through. Unknown number. He opens it. The image loads. It's a photograph taken from inside the safe house, through the bedroom window. Rowan is visible, sitting on the floor, head in his hands. The caption reads, "This is what winning looks like." Dominic's grip tightens on the phone. He makes a call. It's Elijah. Yeah. Someone got inside the perimeter. What? Check the safe house, now. On it. Dominic ends the call. Stares at the photograph. Rowan looks small, broken. Exactly what Sealers wanted. Dominic's phone rings. He answers. All security is accounted for, Elijah says. No breaches. Then how? Long-range lens, probably half a mile out. Dominic closes his eyes. Can you trace it? Already trying, but whoever took this knows what they're doing. Find them. I will. Dominic ends the call. He sits in his office. Stares at the photograph. At Rowan's hunched shoulders. At the defeat written in every line of his body. This was supposed to be the turning point. The moment where evidence mattered, where truth won. Instead, it's the opposite. The contract is believed, the lies are spreading, the investigation is expanding. And Rowan is breaking. Dominic's phone buzzes one more time. Another message from Sealers. You had a chance to walk away, now you'll watch him fall apart. Dominic reads it. Then he types a response. You miscalculated. He hits send. The reply comes instantly. Oh, Dominic smiles, cold, empty. You made it personal. He sets the phone down. Stands. Walks out of his office. Elijah is waiting in the hallway. Where are you going? To end this. How? Dominic's expression is flat, by breaking the one thing Sealers values more than power. Which is control. That solution failed for a reason no one had measured yet. Sealers Bexley's empire runs on silence. Not the kind of silence that comes from fear, the kind that comes from precision. Every transaction is clean, every connection is layered, every weakness is buried beneath paperwork and shell corporations and people who know when to disappear. Dominic knows this. He's studied it for weeks. Sealers doesn't leave openings. But he does leave patterns. Dominic sits in Elijah's car outside a warehouse in Newark. It's 3 in the morning. The street is empty except for rats and broken glass. "You sure about this?" Elijah asks. Dominic doesn't answer. He watches the warehouse entrance, a single guard, young, bored, scrolling through his phone. "The shipment arrives in 20 minutes, Elijah says. "Medical supplies, hormonal compounds, all legally purchased, all properly documented. And all going to facilities Sealers controls," Dominic finishes. "Yeah. How many facilities?" 12 spread across 4 states. Dominic's jaw tightens. He's running more trials. "Looks like it. How many people?" "Unknown. Records are sealed." Dominic's hands curl into fists. "We shut it down." "How? Everything is legal, FDA approved. We can't just." "We don't need legal, we need visible." Elijah frowns. "What are you thinking?" Dominic pulls out his phone, opens a contact, sends a single text. "Ready." The response comes immediately. "Ready." Dominic looks at Elijah. "When that truck arrives, we don't stop it, we follow it." "To where?" "Everywhere." 20 minutes later, the truck pulls up. White, unmarked, 2 drivers. They load crates from the warehouse, 12 in total. Then they leave. Elijah follows at a distance. The truck makes 4 stops: a clinic in Jersey City, a research facility in Stamford, a private hospital in White Plains, a medical supply depot in Bridgeport. At each stop, Dominic's people are waiting. Not to intervene. To document. By dawn they have footage, photographs, shipping manifests, timestamps. None of it is illegal. All of it is damning. Because the facilities all share one thing: they all treat omegas exclusively. And none of them advertise. Dominic sends the evidence to 3 people: a federal investigator who owes him a favor, a journalist who specializes in medical ethics, a watchdog group that monitors pharmaceutical trials. Then he waits. 8 hours later, the first article drops. Unmarked medical trials target vulnerable omegas. Then another. Biomed solutions under federal review for undisclosed research. Then a third. Connecticut facilities raided in multi-state investigation. Dominic watches the headlines spread. His phone rings. "You started a war," Elijah says. "Good. Sealers is going to retaliate." "Let him." Dominic ends the call. His phone buzzes immediately. A text from Sealers. "You just signed your death warrant." Dominic types back. "You signed yours 6 months ago, you just didn't know it yet." He doesn't wait for a response. He drives to the safe house. Finds Rowan asleep on the couch. Dr. Calloway is sitting nearby, reading. "How is he?" Dominic asks quietly. "Stable, he ate dinner, the baby's heartbeat is stronger." Dominic nods. Dr. Calloway stands. "What did you do?" "What I should have done weeks ago." "Which is?" "Stopped playing defense." Dr. Calloway studies him, then she nods. "Good." She leaves. Dominic sits in the chair across from Rowan, watches him sleep. Rowan's face is peaceful. For the first time in weeks, he doesn't look haunted. Dominic's phone buzzes. Another message, this one from the federal investigator. "Warrants approved, raids happening now, you might want to watch the news." Dominic turns on the TV. Mutes it. The screen shows footage, federal agents entering facilities, carrying boxes, leading people out in handcuffs. The ticker at the bottom reads, Biomed Solutions CEO arrested, multiple facilities shut down. Then another update, Sealers Bexley named in federal investigation. Dominic watches. Rowan stirs, opens his eyes. "What's going on?" he asks groggily. Dominic shows him the screen. Rowan sits up, stares, his expression shifts from confusion to disbelief. "Is that Yes. How? Evidence, lots of it. Rowan's hands shake. Does this mean? It means Sealers is done. Rowan's eyes fill. For real. Dominic nods. For real. Rowan covers his face with his hands. His shoulders shake. Dominic moves to sit beside him, doesn't touch him, just sits there. I thought we lost, Rowan whispers. We almost did. What changed? Dominic's jaw tightens. I stopped trying to win their way, started fighting my way. Rowan lowers his hands, his eyes are red. What happens now? Sealers faces charges, the facilities get shut down, the people he hurt get justice. And me. You're safe. Just like that. No, not just like that. Dominic's voice is quiet. It took weeks, resources, people willing to risk their careers, but yeah, you're safe. Rowan stares at the TV, at the footage of Sealers being led out in handcuffs. He looks smaller, Rowan says. Dominic almost smiles. He is. They sit together, watching the news cycle through updates. Biomed Solutions faces massive lawsuits. Omega rights groups demand accountability. Federal investigation expands to 4 states. Rowan's hand moves to his belly, the baby kicks. Strong this time. Did you feel that? Rowan asks. Dominic nods. Yeah. What do you think it means? It's that they know. Know what? That it's over. Rowan's throat works. He looks at Dominic. Thank you. Dominic meets his eyes. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. You saved my life first. That was different. No, it wasn't. The silence that follows is comfortable. For the first time in months, it doesn't feel heavy. Dominic's phone buzzes. A message from Elijah. Sealers is being transferred to federal custody. Florida arrest warrant just came through. He tried to run. Dominic shows Rowan. Rowan reads it, then he laughs. It's a broken sound, half relief, half disbelief. He ran, Rowan says. He did. Good. Dominic stands. I need to go back to the city, handle the aftermath. Okay. Dr. Calloway will stay with you. Okay. Dominic pauses at the door. Rowan. Yeah. This isn't over. There will be trials, testimony, questions. I know. But you're not alone. Rowan's eyes fill again. I know. Dominic nods. Then he leaves. Rowan sits on the couch. Stares at the TV. Watches Sealers' empire crumble in real time. And for the first time in 6 months, he lets himself believe. Maybe this really is over. Maybe he really is safe. Maybe survival is enough. And even then, it only worked if nothing went wrong. The contractions start during a snowstorm. Rowan wakes at 4 in the morning, his back aches, sharp, insistent. He tries to ignore it. Rolls over, closes his eyes. The pain comes again, harder this time. He sits up. Checks the clock. 7 minutes apart. Dr. Calloway, he calls. No answer. He tries again, louder. The door opens, Dr. Calloway appears, takes one look at Rowan and moves. How far apart? She asks. 7 minutes. It's how long? 20 minutes, maybe. She pulls out her phone, calls Dominic, no answer. Calls again. Voicemail. He's probably still dealing with federal agents, she mutters. She helps Rowan stand, his legs shake. We need to get you to the hospital, she says. How? The roads. I don't care about the roads. She helps him to the car. The snow is falling heavy. Visibility is almost zero. Dr. Calloway drives anyway. 40 minutes, white knuckles, silent concentration. They reach the hospital at 5:30. Rowan is admitted immediately. Labor and delivery, private room, monitors beeping. A nurse checks his vitals. You're at 6 centimeters, moving fast. Rowan nods, can't speak. Another contraction hits. He breathes through it, counts 1, 2, 3. The pain crests, breaks. He slumps back. Dr. Calloway holds his hand. You're doing great. Where's Dominic? On his way. He's not going to make it. He will. The contractions come faster. 5 minutes, 4, 3. The doctor arrives, checks him again. 9 centimeters, almost there. Rowan closes his eyes. His whole body feels like it's splitting apart. The door opens. Dominic walks in, snow still melting in his hair, suit rumpled, eyes wild. I'm here, he says. Rowan's throat tightens. You made it. Of course I made it. Dominic moves to his side, takes his hand. Rowan grips it, hard. Another contraction, stronger than the rest. Okay, the doctor says, on the next one I need you to push. Rowan nods. The contraction builds. Now, the doctor says. Rowan pushes. Everything narrows to pain, pressure, the feeling of his body doing something it was designed to do but never asked for. He pushes again. And again. I can see the head, the doctor says. One more. Rowan can't. He's exhausted, empty. You can, Dominic says quietly. I know you can. Rowan looks at him. Dominic's expression is steady, certain. Rowan pushes. The baby slides free. A cry splits the air. High, angry, alive. Rowan collapses back, gasping. The doctor holds the baby up. It's a boy. The baby is tiny, red, screaming. Perfect. The nurse wraps him in a blanket, brings him to Rowan. Rowan's hands shake as he holds him. The baby stops crying, opens his eyes. Dark, focused. Rowan's chest tightens, tears spill over. Hi, he whispers. The baby blinks. Dominic stands beside them, silent, his hand rests on Rowan's shoulder. He's beautiful, Dominic says quietly. Rowan nods, can't speak. The baby's hand wraps around Rowan's finger, tiny, strong. What's his name? The nurse asks. Rowan looks at Dominic. Dominic looks back. Isaiah, Rowan says. His name is Isaiah. The nurse writes it down. Isaiah. The baby that shouldn't exist, the pregnancy that was forced, the child born from cruelty. But alive. Here. Safe. Rowan holds him close, feels his heartbeat, fast, steady. Dr. Calloway steps forward, checks Isaiah's vitals. Strong heartbeat, good color, he's perfect. Rowan's tears fall faster. He looks at Dominic. We did it. Dominic's expression softens. You did it. No, we did. The hours blur after that. Nurses come and go. Isaiah is weighed, measured, given his first bath. Rowan watches everything, exhausted, overwhelmed. Happy. Dominic stays the whole time, doesn't leave, doesn't check his phone. Just stays. By evening, the room is quiet. Isaiah sleeps in Rowan's arms, small, warm. Rowan stares at him, can't look away. What are you thinking? Dominic asks. Rowan's throat tightens, that he's real. He is. That he's mine. He is. That Sealers didn't win. Dominic's jaw tightens. No, he didn't. Rowan looks up. What happens now? Now we figure out what comes next. Together. Dominic meets his eyes. If you want. Rowan's chest aches. I want. Dominic nods. Isaiah stirs, makes a small sound. Rowan adjusts him carefully, whispers something too quiet for Dominic to hear. Dominic doesn't ask what. Some things are meant to stay private. The snow continues to fall outside. The city is silent, blanketed. Inside the hospital room, 3 people exist in their own world. A child who survived. An Omega who endured. An Alpha who chose protection over power. The system tried to break them. It failed. Not because they were stronger. but because they refused to break alone. The story still isn't about love. 6 weeks later, Rowan stands on a private road near Long Island. The ocean stretches beyond, grey, endless. Isaiah is bundled against his chest, sleeping, his small face peaceful. Dominic walks beside them, hands in his pockets, silent. The wind bites cold, sharp. Rowan doesn't mind. For the first time in months, he feels like he can breathe. "You're quiet," Dominic says. Rowan glances at him, just thinking. "About everything." Dominic's expression doesn't change, that's vague. Rowan almost smiles, "Yeah." They walk in silence for a while. Isaiah shifts, makes a small sound, settles again. "He's growing fast," Dominic says. "Too fast." "You're doing good." Rowan's throat tightens, "I'm trying." "That's enough." They reach the end of the road, turn back. The house Dominic bought is visible in the distance. Small, private, nothing like the penthouse. Rowan chose it himself. Silas's trial starts next month, Dominic says. Rowan nods, "I know." "You'll have to testify." "I know." "It'll be hard." "I know." Dominic stops walking, looks at him, "You don't have to do it." Rowan meets his eyes, "Yes, I do." "Why?" "Because other people need to see that he can lose." Dominic studies him, then he nods. "Okay." They start walking again. The wind picks up, Isaiah fusses. Rowan adjusts the blanket around him. "What about you?" Rowan asks. "What about me?" "The investigation, the charges." Dominic's jaw tightens. "Dropped, all of them." "Really?" "Federal agents found enough evidence to confirm I wasn't involved, that I was trying to stop Silas." Rowan's chest loosens. "That's good." "Yeah. What about your reputation?" Dominic shrugs, rebuilding, slowly. "People still talk." "They always will." Rowan looks down at Isaiah. "Does it bother you?" "No." "Why not?" Dominic's expression softens, just slightly, "Because I know what I chose, and why." They walk back to the house. Inside it's warm, quiet. Rowan sets Isaiah in his bassinet, watches him sleep. Dominic stands in the doorway. "I need to go back to the city tomorrow." Rowan turns. "For how long?" "A few days, business." "Okay. You'll be safe here, security is." "I know." Dominic hesitates. "You sure you'll be okay?" Rowan nods. "Yeah." Dominic doesn't move. "What?" Rowan asks. "Nothing." "Dominic." Dominic's jaw tightens. "I meant what I said, on Canal Street." Rowan frowns. "What did you say?" "Wanna bet?" Rowan's breath catches. Dominic steps into the room. "The crowd thought I was challenging you, asserting dominance, playing games." "Weren't you?" "No." Dominic's voice is quiet. "I was asking if you believed you were worth protecting." Rowan's throat works. "Why?" "Because I already knew the answer." The silence that follows is heavy. Rowan stares at him, and what was it? Dominic meets his eyes. "Yes." Rowan's chest tightens. Isaiah makes a small sound in his sleep. Both of them look at him. "He's everything," Rowan whispers. "Yeah. I thought I'd resent him, because of how Rowan's voice cracks, but I don't." "I know. I loved him." "I know." Rowan looks at Dominic. "Do you?" Dominic's expression shifts. Something vulnerable, something real. "Yeah," he says quietly, "I do." Rowan's eyes fill. Dominic crosses the room, stands beside the bassinet. Looks down at Isaiah. "He's got your nose," Dominic says. Rowan almost laughs. He's 6 weeks old. Still, they stand together, watching Isaiah sleep. "What kind of alpha survives the future?" Rowan asks suddenly. Dominic looks at him. "What?" "That's what this was about, right?" Rowan's voice is steady. figuring out what kind of alpha you are. Dominic doesn't answer immediately. He thinks about Baltimore, about blood pooling beneath him, about Rowan's hands counting his pulse. He thinks about Canal Street, about the laughter, about Rowan standing alone in the rain. He thinks about every choice he made after, every risk, every consequence. The kind who protects, Dominic says finally, even when it costs everything. Rowan's throat tightens, and if it costs too much, then it was worth it. How do you know? Dominic looks at Isaiah, then at Rowan, because some things are worth more than power. The truth of it settles between them. Rowan reaches for Dominic's hand. Dominic takes it. They stand together, watching a child sleep. A child who exists because someone chose cruelty, but survived because others chose differently. The world outside continues, indifferent, endless. But inside this house, 3 people exist in defiance of every rule that tried to erase them. The story spreads after that. Not as gossip, as truth. The pregnant Omega who was humiliated on Canal Street, the alpha who said won a bet, the child born from forced circumstances who survived anyway. People talk. Some believe it, some don't. But the ones who matter, the Omegas who feel invisible, the people who have been broken by systems that don't care, the survivors who thought they were alone, they understand. That dignity isn't given. It's chosen. That strength isn't dominance. It's standing up when it costs you everything. That real alphas don't consume. They protect. And sometimes, protection looks like draping your coat over someone's shoulders in the rain. Sometimes it looks like staying when every advisor tells you to walk away. Sometimes it looks like holding a child who wouldn't exist if the world were just, and choosing to love them anyway. Rowan stands by the window months later. Isaiah is bigger now, sitting up, babbling. Dominic is there too, more often now. Not as protection. As family. What are you thinking? Dominic asks. Rowan looks at him, that we made it. Yeah. That it almost didn't happen. But it did. Rowan's hand moves to Isaiah, the baby grabs his finger, holds tight. What do we tell him? Rowan asks. When he's older, when he asks how he was born. Dominic's expression is steady, the truth. Which is that he exists because you refused to disappear. Rowan's eyes fill. Dominic continues that the world tried to erase you, and you survived anyway. That's not the whole truth. Then what is? Rowan looks at Isaiah, that I didn't survive alone. Dominic's throat works. No, you didn't. Isaiah laughs, small, bright. Both of them smile. The future stretches ahead, uncertain, complicated. But survivable. Because this story was never about winning. It was about refusing to let cruelty be the final word. About choosing dignity when the world demands you accept shame. About standing up for someone when it costs everything, and doing it anyway. The audience realizes something then. This story exists so they never forget. How often dignity is almost erased. How rarely someone chooses to stop it. And how much it matters when they do. Rowan Hale was never weak. He was survivor strong. And the alpha who said won a bet. He didn't gamble. He invested. In justice, in healing, in a future no one could steal again. The end. If you've made it this far, you've witnessed something rare, a story where protection wins over power. These stories matter because they remind us that dignity is always worth defending. Subscribe so you never miss another story that inspires. Turn on notifications because the next one might be exactly what someone in your life needs to hear. And please, share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice could be the encouragement that inspires someone else to keep fighting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. And thank you for believing that the right choice is always worth making, even when it costs everything.